For 69, it's an integral. We're going to just use Sage. We did the paper and pencil work already, and we're going to use Sage. All right, so let's take a look at it. Integrate. And what do you get? Square root SQRT. And that's going to be 1 plus the secant of x. Close out the square root function. The variables x, our limits go from 0 up to pi, divide by 2. Hit the return button, see what happens. Looks like Sage is thinking about how to do that. I would say it's probably trying to do something. Not sure what it's doing. And again, the reason for that is it's basically ignorance on my end. I don't know much about the algorithms that Sage uses. All right. So I'm going to say it looks like it's stuck. All right. So let's look at what's written down over here. That's going to happen to you. You can get stuck. All right. So my concern, if you're stuck, what do you do? Well, I guess you got to do something else. And I don't think we talked about this yet. And let's talk about it now. A lot of times you just want to get a numerical approximation to it, right? And maybe that's enough to know what the results are, all right? So what I want to do is I'm going to kill this. I'm going to hit Control-C now. I'm actually killing it. Now, of course, it said console interrupt. A whole bunch of things come up. Let me just clear the screen. I can see that again. But what I want to do is I want to do this over here, which almost looks like what we just typed in, but now it's numerical integration. Right, let me read that to you. Numerical underscore integral. What are we integrating? The square root of 1 plus the secant of x. Right? I'm not specifying a variable in this case over here. And again, I didn't write the code. I would have done that if I were writing the code. I would have said, oh, the variable is x. But anyway, it's assumed that x is a function of x. And we're going from 0 to pi over 2. Hit the return button. And what does it give me? It gives me something. Now, someone says, what did it give me? It gave me the result right here. This is the result of that integration, which is 3.14 blah, 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 blah. What's over here? I believe this is an error bound to it. Right? I believe it's an error bound. Now, let's say you want to investigate, the numerical integral function more, or command. So, I just type it in and put a question mark there next to it. And what's going to happen is you're going to get what's called a man page or a manual page. And you can read that if you want. All right. You can also go to the Sage website, sagemath.org, and you could probably, look through the source code if you wanted to. That's really entirely up to you what you're interested in. Now, I'm not at that skill set where I'm looking at the source code for Sage Math, right? Could I look at it? Yeah. Would I understand what I'm looking at? A little bit, but not a lot, and it will be overwhelming to be honest with you. It's really a very large base of code, very large. But you could look at it if you want. But anyway, we learned something new here. Sage choked on this. It choked on it. What did I do? Well, I used numerical integral to get approximate. What's the approximate I got though? Let's take a look at that again. And let's go back to that again. And I think I'm going to scroll up. Let me quit out of this. And I got 3.14. That looks like pi. So I'm gonna actually get an approximate value for pi now. And that's an approximate value for pi. Now someone's going to say, oh, that's not exactly right. I got suspicions this integral produces pi, by the way. Now granted, when we did it by hand, we got pi. I want to do one more piece of software for you. And what am I going to do? I actually am going to get a Wolfram Alpha. Let me open a website. And go there, Wolfram. And what I'm going to do, pull this down. And I'm going to integrate. Whoops, I got to pull it up a little bit. Let me scroll this up here. Integrate. What do I want to integrate? The square root SQRT. 1 plus secant of x. And we want x to be from x from, I'm going to say from x equal 0 to, whoops, x equal, whoops, I just had 2, right? X equal pi over 2. I like Wolfram Alpha, by the way. I will say this, though. Wolfram Alpha is going to try to sell you something. They're going to try to sell you access to the product. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a good product. If you want to pay for it, you can. I want to encourage you, though, to really pay attention to Sage, by the way. Open source software It's something to be paying attention to. Anyway, was it able to do it? Yeah, quite quickly, by the way. It got pi. It also gives you the approximation. All right? We're good to go. Thank you.